I was on Speedrun.com looking at the most popular speedruns on the site, as I usually do when I'm trying to find a new game to run, when one game caught my eye. Subway Surfers. I immediately thought to myself, how does this game even have a speedrun, let alone be one of the top runs on the site? I mean, we've all probably played Subway Surfers before at some point. You wouldn't really think it's speedrunnable, right?
Wrong.
This is possibly the most strategic speedrun I have ever tried, with one of the biggest leaderboards I have ever seen. So let's just jump into it. Time starts right as we hit play, so 3, 2, 1. So there are actually a lot of different categories, but we're going to be running the no coins category since it's the most popular by far, with over 18,000 runs in this category alone. I seriously don't think I've ever seen a leaderboard with this many runs. So the goal of this run is to last as long as possible, like a normal Subway Surfers run. The only catch is you can't collect a single coin. Time stops right when we collect one, so we'll have to avoid them for as long as possible. And that's a big reason this run intrigued me so much. Instead of the fastest time at the top of the leaderboard, the longest run is, making it pretty unique from other speedruns. Another really cool thing about this run is that there's a couple things we can use to help us avoid coins. We can use these double jump hoverboards that let us jump over trains as many times as we want, along with keys up to 3 separate times in the run, which you'll see why those will be useful in a bit. So right here we can jump over these coins and then jump on top of this train, but now there's no way to get past these, so we're gonna have to explode. And then there's no way to get past this, so we're gonna have to use a key here. And that's what I meant when I said you can use keys later in the run, because when you use a key, it explodes all the obstacles ahead of you, including coins. And hoverboards have the same effect, as you just saw me use one before I had to use the key. The only problem is there's a delay, so you can't just keep using hoverboards over and over again, so you really have to be careful when you use it. Like right here, if I didn't have a hoverboard activated, I would just have to end the run since I couldn't get over these coins. So now we're over 3 minutes into the run, which just means trains are going to be moving a lot faster and we're going to have to make decisions a lot sooner. And this isn't even as fast as it gets. So right here I did have a misplay. I intentionally used my hoverboard to blow up since my hoverboard was about to run out, but it was too late and I wasn't able to get around this train ahead. But it's okay because we still have keys to use. We do only have one more use of keys though, so we have to be super careful. These parts are the scariest just because there's so many coins, but right now we're good since we have the hoverboard. Here I do intentionally use my hoverboard to explode again, but that's just because I know what's coming up and it won't be too difficult without a hoverboard. This part was really scary because I accidentally used my hoverboard, so I needed to do a really tight jump onto the train just to avoid the coins on the sides. But it's okay because I did it perfectly and gave myself just enough time to get another hoverboard and jump over this barrier. So now we're in really dangerous territory since we're over 5 minutes into the run and trains are moving at their top speed. Like right here, I have to use the hoverboard without knowing what's on the other side of the train. Luckily, it was a pretty easy section though. And that's actually a big component to the speedrun. Luck. Because depending on when and what parts of the level it generates, it can be a lot easier than others. And I do love my RNG speedruns, if you know you know. So after getting fairly lucky for a good minute in the run, I had one of the scariest things happen in the run so far. It started with me having to use my hoverboard to get rid of all these coins, but then this happens. I just barely avoid a coin and then I hit the side of the train car since I didn't have a hoverboard ready. I did make it out alright, but in the moment I was panicking a little. Now this is the most important time in the run. We're over 7 minutes in the run and I'm deciding when I should pop my hoverboard or wait, since there's no guarantee that when it runs out, I'm not going to need it. But that's also what I love about this speedrun. You're constantly needing to think ahead and just hope for good RNG. Now I hope you can see what I mean when I say this is the most strategic speedrun I have ever tried. You're constantly making decisions and at the top speed, it gets pretty intense. Like right here. I had to use my hoverboard to explode these coins and then with just a fraction of a second was barely able to pop another board before I was hit by the train. And now that we're past 8 minutes 30 seconds in the run, we've officially made it into the top 100 on the leaderboard, which I'm actually really happy with for how absolutely massive this leaderboard is. So now every single second we survive in the run, we're just moving up in the top 100. Unfortunately, this is where disaster struck. At the time, I didn't know I had already made it into the top 100, which was actually my goal from the start, but I knew I had to be close. The nerves got the best of me, and instead of using a hoverboard or a key, I officially picked up the first coin of the run, leaving us with a time of 9 minutes 22 seconds. putting us at 87th on the leaderboard, which I think is pretty respectable. This was honestly a really fun experience trying to speedrun a game I would never even think had a speedrun. And that's the whole goal of this channel, to find fun and interesting speedruns to share my passion for speedrunning and hopefully get more people into the hobby. So if you have any speedrun suggestions, definitely let me know in the comments and I'll check them out. And if you want to see more speedrun content from me, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Zippy, and I appreciate you watching. Wonder what the world record for this run is.